Well, it's game day, folks. As you can see, tonight we're doing something a little bit different. My BCH co-anchor, Dusty Baker, is joining me on the set tonight to break down some of the key points for tonight's Cowboys-Rams NFC divisional playoff game.
Well, thanks, Mary Margaret. Glad to crash in on your party here. Now, as for the Cowboys and Rams, well, the LA Coliseum will not be much of a party. Rain overnight and today has created poor playing conditions, and that has directly impacted our keys to the game.
Well, Dusty, that play directly impacts my first key. The Cowboys secondary has to take advantage of Jared Goff's inability to play well in bad weather. Now, Dusty, you're from California. Jared Goff is from California. You guys are pretty used to some really nice weather year-round.
Always.
But it has been rainy and gross this week in Los Angeles. The field is soaking wet, and the playing conditions are not going to be great. The weather tonight in Los Angeles is going to be hanging around the low 50s with the low of around 48. I am a meteorologist. Never mind. I'm actually not. Well, this is not going to be a snowy game. Jared Goff has very little experience playing in cold weather. The Cowboys defense needs to take advantage of the conditions from the get-go and not allow Goff to continue to uphold his 68% pass completion rating at home.
Love that forecast there, Mary Margaret. Well, on the other side of the field are the LA Rams, eyeing a trip to the NFC Championship for the first time since 2001 when they were in St. Louis and they faced the Patriots that year in the Super Bowl, eventually lost as well. So what makes the Rams a Super Bowl contender this year? Well, it's running back Todd Gurley, who will be a significant key to this team if he can manage to remain healthy. That is the major factor here. The Rams are coming off a bye, and he sat out the final 2 weeks of the regular season with an injured knee. That means he's had almost 4 weeks of rest, and he should be good to go. However, with the poor playing conditions that Mary Margaret had referred to in LA, that could play a significant role in how Gurley runs and the health of his legs as well. One slip in the swamp and he could be knocked right off the turf there. So if Gurley does stay healthy, he is the scariest player in the NFL and on the field tonight. Without playing 2 games, he still ran for 1,251 yards and 17 touchdowns. He also had 59 receptions for 580 yards and 4 scores. So needless to say, the Rams' hopes are lying on the health of the legs of Todd Gurley.
Well, we know how dangerous Todd Gurley can be, but also it's going to be a battle of the running backs tonight. My final key to the game is the most obvious one, and that's feed Zeke. The Cowboys have the lead rushing league leader. All they have to do is feed the ball to Ezekiel Elliott and set him free. Since week 10, Zeke has averaged 23 touches a game for around 111 yards per game, and they've won all of those final games except for one. Zeke is coming off one of his best performances of the season where he ran for 137 yards on 26 carries and a touchdown against the Seahawks, whose defense was ranked 13th in the league against stopping the run. Now, the Rams are ranked 23rd. Expect Zeke to be carrying a lot of the offense tonight. Now, Dusty's got some more on the Rams defensive line.
Right. Well, they've struggled immensely against the run this year, and the key on defense is containing Zeke and the run game. The Rams ranked 23rd in the NFL as one of the worst defensive leagues against the run, averaging 122 yards per game on the ground. The Rams haven't faced a running back like Zeke all year long since Alvin Kamara in Week 9 in the loss against the Saints. Kamara accounted for 116 yards of total offense and 3 touchdowns. So needless to say, that is a weakness the Cowboys will try and exploit against the Rams. The Rams have also forced only 4 fumbles all season long, so facing a running back like Zeke could pose a serious threat if they can't stuff him or strip the football out of his hands. The Rams have only allowed 1 run all year long that has gone over 40 yards. They have allowed yet another, of course, 17, just around over 1 a game, a rush over 20 yards. It's going to take consistent penetration for Michael Brockers and Aaron Donald, a scary guy on the line there, for the Rams to contain the run tonight, and we will find shortly if that is indeed the case. Now, going back to the topic of bad weather, we go to the early game of the day between the Chiefs and the Colts in Kansas City.
Now, this one was absolutely disgusting weather. It was not a pretty sight to behold by any stretch of the imagination. Freezing temperatures and snow at the start of kickoff, but the Chiefs certainly looked unstoppable early on. Kansas City took their 24-7 halftime lead all the way into the 4th quarter. Here is the score from a snowy Arrowhead Stadium.
And it looks like the Chiefs are going to go on now and host the AFC Championship in the final round, I should say, leading to the Super Bowl. So just a little bit under 30 minutes away, the Rams and the Cowboys kick off, and it's a win or go home situation.
And I don't want to be cynical, but Cowboys in recent years have a history of going home in the NFC divisional round. That's something they're too familiar with lately. The Cowboys haven't won a road playoff game since 1992. Now, that's before either of us were born.
Absolutely.
The Cowboys are 0-5 in the last 5 division round playoff games, so good luck, Cowboys Nation. We will be watching. That's it for your sports. Your local news will continue after the break.
Plus, Clemente with one final look at our forecast straight ahead.